Welcome everybody here to UPRE Unpopular Reviews Entertainment Top 10. That's right, not top 5, top 10 sitcoms of all time to us. Not to you, not to your mama, not to your grandma Susie. Our top 10. It's a big show. So big, we couldn't just do 5. We had to do 10. We'll be right back, y'all. Right here on Pop Review.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Level up. Hey guys, we are back here on Unpopular Review, top 10 favorite sitcoms of all time. And I am one of your hosts, the Tribal Chief of Staff, Mike Knox, and I am joined by two of the most handsomest brothers, no broke back this side of the Mississippi. Over here, the executive consultant, as he fixes his camera so you can see him clearly. Can't see him drop his pen because he moved his camera down. And we got my man Vic. Look, he's fresh from the barber. The Puerto Rican parade was last week in New York. What's going on, Vic Damone Jr.?
I'm chilling. I'm doing fantastic. Can't wait to talk about these sitcoms. These are the things that raised me.
Like these things birthed me. But listen, little disclaimer, people. Don't be coming at anybody's next in the comments. This is not your favorite top 10 list. This isn't whoever put a top 10 sitcoms together list. This is what's our favorite top 10 sitcoms of all time. And listen, this is supposed to be the top 5. But we had so many damn honorable mentions. The executive consultant doing executive things said it needs to be 10. So 10 it shall be. So with that being said, at number 10, I started off, right? I will start this off, and it's just a preference. A sitcom can be a lot of things. Because I Googled the definition of a sitcom, and technically a sitcom is a 30-minute show taken from a live to the audience. But times have changed with the invention of cable and Netflix and HBO and things like that. So typically, a sitcom is a 30-minute show that goes from one episode to the next with a purpose, which means it has a timeline that it follows. That's technically what the sitcom is today. And so with that being said, for me, again, I will start this off at my number 10 sitcom of all time. Now, this is how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I like to take a minute just to sit right there to tell you how I became the count of the prince of a town called Bel Air. And I'm not talking about the new one, which I love, by the way. Facts. But this show, starring Will Smith, okay, where he's fresh off of Parents Just Don't Understand, doing this thing. They love them off of that video. Parents Just Don't Understand. They flew them out to Hollywood. They love them. The rest is history. You all know what Big Willie Style is doing. Not just Miami. Big Willie, blew up because of this show right here. Number 10 for me, The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Executive consultant, consult some things. And what's your number 9? What's your number 10? I'm sorry.
My number 10 is a show that actually came out decades ago. They made a movie about it later. And when Mike and I were talking pre-production, he mentioned this, but I didn't say anything because that's what I do. Poker face, ladies and gentlemen. Get Smart is my number 10. I used to love this series as a child. Great series, great comedy. Also, I like spies. Not Mission Impossible, real spies. So I had to give a shout out to this show. Get Smart, my number 10 sitcom. Down to you, Vic.
All right. So all I gotta say to this is
Hey, Monday, Tuesday, happy days. Wednesday, Thursday, happy days. Friday, Saturday, happy days. The weekend comes, but not too hum. We're making new race for two. Way too damn old.
Love that show. Love that show. Started watching the reruns as a little boy on Nick at Night.
Damn, I guess I'm old. I was still out when Happy Days was still live on television. I actually saw Joni Love Chachi. Like I'm born in '75, so
I got to learn about the beginning of Joni Loves Chachi, and then I got into Charles in Charge.
Charles in Charge, into Zap.
Which is actually my honorable mention since we're breaking rules.
But
but yes, Happy Days was definitely awesome. Love seeing the Fonz. Can't see the Fonz as anything else. I had very tough time seeing the Fonz. Seeing the Fonz being so soft in Waterboy, I had a very, very tough time. But I was just like, hey, the guy's got range. But yeah, man, lots of good memories with Happy Days, man. Lots of yes, good time.
Listen, my number 10 is in a lot of people's top 15, 50, but I don't care because it's my list.
Your turn. Okay, number 9.
It's my list. At number 9, no, number 10 was Fresh Prince. Number 9. For me, listen, when you come from, well, Peg, and you get Sofia Vergara, Modern Family, baby. My man Pritchard, my man the top corner, Phil Dunphy, to this day, I'm a father like Phil Dunphy. This show not only taught me how not to be homophobic, how to be a better father, in the sense of what sitcoms used to mean back in the 80s when I was growing up, where it meant something. It was empowering. Modern Family taught me a lot of things about myself as a person, and I love this show in that aspect, not to mention it was just that flat out funny, and flat out amazing. My number 9, Modern Family. Number 9 for you, El Jefe.
Number 9 for me is going to come off another show that came out decades ago, but the impact it has is still felt today, more so than people think. Great comedy show. Loved it. One of my first ones as a child. This will be Cheers, which is a series that came on NBC for about 11, 12 seasons. I love that. It had a spinoff of Frasier, which was out for several more seasons. And everybody still knows that song because everybody knows your name. Number 9 for the exec consultant is Cheers.
Oh, man. Damn. Yo.
You know, I'm rewatching it right now, right? And it's this line, and it go.
I'm not gonna lie, say like that. You know what? Honestly, you got to put Cheers and Frasier together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just hard not to. What?
No, I don't. Just because it has the same one of the same or two of the same characters doesn't mean I have to put them together. Cheers was a show centered around a bar. Frasier was a show centered around a spinoff character in his profession in his terrible marriage. It's a difference. Okay.
You know what I wish? I wish that they would have done spinoff shows on all of them. I would have loved to see, more of the Mailman. I would have loved to see Norm with his own show. What? That would have been fire.
They actually tried that. There's a thing that I learned this past week about. They called it either way, it's like a secret pilot. So anytime you would see an episode in a season where they're focusing that episode, that's typically not the regular show, the way the show goes. That's them testing a pilot within the season, and they actually did that for Norman. They had one episode. Remember, they went to his house and all that stuff went on. That was supposed to see how it was going to produce for Norm to have his own show, and it didn't test well because that's what they did back then. Things was testing back then. If the people liked it, then they would try to push it. And Norm, yeah.
Okay. Also, that's what happened with Urkel. Okay. Nice. All right. Well. All right. So we at number 9, right?
Number 9. What you got?
You guys just gave some great ones. You guys really, really gave some great ones. All right. You know what? I'm just going to say this. I'm going to go with Martin right now.
Martin at number 9.
I'm real hype about the return of Martin. Martin was one of the funniest shows ever. I love me some Shanae. I love me the kid with the boogers that was coming into to see Gina, to bother Gina all the time. Oh man, like this right here I learned a lot about the Detroit. I learned a lot, just a lot about just Black culture in general. Like I just loved all about them talking about Tommy, how Tommy ain't got no damn job. And here's the thing, like I would watch back episodes just to find out clues to see if Tommy did have a job, because that was always the biggest mysterious thing. And I always felt like that was brilliant writing.
I got a great deal on it for my job.
And you go
just ruined it. It's hot. Tell me everybody knows you ain't got no job.
Come on, man. You know why I work. You know why I work.
Oh, we all know why it
Rest in
works.
peace, Tommy.
Oh, we all know why it works, but the thing is, it's just that like they would never, ever, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, oh yeah, I'm at work. You know what I mean? And you would always try to find out, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? That was the greatest thing about Martin. But anyway, I talk too much. So, Martin.
All right, my number 8. Listen, without this show, first of all, a lot of you men out there never got laid. First of all. Second, it's under my belief, without this show, shows that are my favorite shows of all time, and shows that have tried to copy this blueprint but not exist. This is the first show that any of us brought up here that's not a regular traditional sitcom, but still sitcom in itself. And I have to go with The Full Girls from New York and Sex in the City. Okay, this show spawned. This is one of not only the biggest sitcoms of all time, it changed women around the country, where they were going to Manhattan. They wanted to have metropolitans. They knew about Dior and fashion. You got Charlotte to your far left. You got Samantha, the promiscuous one in the middle. You got Miranda, the smart lawyer. And you got Carrie, who the show's centered around. This show is about 4 friends in New York and nothing but sex in this. And it's actually not called Sex in the City. It's called Sex and the City. And people got that confused for a lot of times. But so me at number 8, Sex and the City at number 8. My man, executive consultant. You know you got laid
people
because of
who
that show.
said it was Sex in the City are just horny little bastards who are not.
No, I was one of the ones who actually thought that for years until I was like, oh.
My point exactly. You're a horny little bastard. Now,
I was a grown ass man when it showed.
That being said, we are at the impasse, ladies and gentlemen. We are at that part where we knew it was happening. Somebody was going to mention something that was already mentioned. Somebody was going to say something and make it their number 8, where somebody else might have had it at their number 9. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it out there. My number 8 is none other than the aforementioned Martin, right? Martin was a groundbreaking sitcom that was super popular. Martin Lawrence is still making money off of this sitcom because it's so great. He mentioned Sinead. He mentioned Tommy Ain't Got No Job.
The reunion's out right now.
Yeah.
Pam, yes. Pam, who I always thought was better looking than Gina. Pam, right?
By far.
It's still
ugly. Oh my God.
Still really talked about from that show, right? From that show.
Watching her on the neighborhood.
The only reason how come this isn't ranked higher, because a lot of people, especially in the African American community, rank this as their number 1. I can't do that. And the only reason how come is, I always get in arguments with people about this, and I'm going to get an argument with you Hammonders who are watching this. But I always felt like after they got married, got kind of boring.
It did. That's a fact. That's a fact. As a diehard Martin fan, who, yes, spoiler alert, I got a lot higher than you do. Yes, it did go down here after the wedding. That whole
went down.
LA stuff. Yep, it really did.
It did not. It lost a lot of its passion,
and especially after the backstage incidents that happened. Yep.
Right. But for the first 3 seasons or so, comedy gold was Martin, and I would be. This is one of the main reasons why I said top 10, because I didn't want to make this an honorable mention. I wanted this to get the credit and respect it deserved, and it gets it for me at number 8. Vic, we're on you.
All right. Well, be prepared to be confused.
I want to know what the hell he finna pick.
No, I mean, because this is something that you didn't experience, but if you talk to somebody from that time, then they definitely did experience this, right? So now, just just
Ya mucha honra, María la del barrio soy, la que descuida que tu rezo.
Okay, let me explain. This is María la del Barrio. María la del Barrio was one of the biggest things in the late 90s, and everybody ran home to watch this novela. Everybody knew about it. Men, women, children, anybody that was in the Spanish community knew about it. Mind you, this woman till this day is not even called by her real name. Everybody knows her as María la del Barrio because of this damn show. Mind you, it's been 25 years since María la del Barrio, and everybody knows Thalia for selling stuff on YouTube, but she's still Thalia de la María del Barrio. Everybody knows this lady. This thing was a phenomenon, one of the biggest novellas out there. And mind you, great
I'm
memory.
glad we got closed caption for those words.
And one of the biggest ones out there. And you know, there's others that took over. You know, anything that has anything to do with Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. But yeah. Other than that, this definitely was a banger. I don't know if you guys could even tell if this was around, but I had to mention it because wow, the memories that came from this show was just
That's why it's called Your Top 10. And there you have it right there, guys. We've gone through 10, 9, and 8. So that means we gotta say some damn bills around here because you ain't participating on our Patreon. So like, subscribe, and share. And you want to have better studio scenery than the palm trees in the back that needs to get watered. You want better green screens. You want better microphones. Then come on and pay attention. And while we're paying attention, play a commercial break. We'll be right back.
In the beginning, Shrek met Donkey. Then he met Fiona. Then he met the parents. And Puss in Boots. Now,
this kingdom needs a new king.
With soft and bouncy hair.
It's Shrek the Third.
Never fear, Donkey's here.
With more villain, more romance. I gotta go. More danger.
Everybody stay calm. We're all gonna die.
Cookie. DreamWorks Shrek the Third.
That part brings tears to my eyes, guys. We are back. A little damn thing pooping out a damn gummy bear, whatever, come out his butt. So funny. But we are back here. Top 10 favorite sitcoms of all time. And I ain't gonna lie. This is why I love UPRE. And if you love UPRE, all shit aside, please like, subscribe, comment below. Let us know your feedback is much needed and respected for that. But I love this because we get to watch things, do them over, talk about them. And I love nothing more than pop culture and watching TV and movies. So for me, my number 7, a lot of people may have higher, and it's okay. But I know it's a ripoff of something else that all Black America want to make you feel bad about when you like it. But it's okay, because it's better than living single, and it's called Friends. I'll be there for you. And a little side note, and I'm sorry, let me be upset about me saying this. Jennifer Aniston, these girls, these guys to this day are living off of this. Their children's children will live off of Friends. It is arguably one of the most popular sitcoms, if not 1, 2, or 3, definitely top 5 in most people's all-time list. And this is in my favorite at number 7. Who you got at number 7, the executive consultant?
Well, I can tell you who I don't have number 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 6 or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or even an honorable mention, and that would be the stupid little crap that you just said, Friends. I was trying to. I wanted this episode saying I was not going to hear anybody's pick, but I swear to goodness, I've never understood how anybody can find Friends funny. It is not funny whatsoever at all.
Comedy is subjective. So I let it be.
Yeah, except for when it's more than any. But I will tell you this: I like groundbreaking shows, and I think one of the most groundbreaking shows that's ever going to be mentioned.
Yep.
And it might be somebody's top. I don't know. It's actually this sitcom right here. It is called. It can't be in the front of the live studio audience, but it was a half-hour show, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about The Simpsons.
Oh man,
this animated classic that came out in 1989 is still on the air today.
Right. That's the great thing about
still one of Fox's highest-rated comedies, actually. Right, and I stopped watching it in like late 90s.
Years ago. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the only time I watched it again is when it came out with the movie in 2007. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to watch it because it's a movie. And you know what? That movie was actually pretty damn funny, right? Now, a lot has changed in the years. They got rid of some characters because they're no longer racially sensitive and everything of the sorts. But you cannot tell me at one point in time that The Simpsons was not something you watch and you thoroughly entertain. And honestly speaking, even if I may see a clip or something now, it's still pretty daggone funny. Yeah, I just can't bring myself to watch it. But without The Simpsons, would you have your Bob's Burger? Would you have your Futurama? Would you have your American Dad? Would you have your Family Guy? No. I don't think so. A lot of respect needs to be given to my number 7, and that's The Simpsons.
I'm going to give you that right there because I thought people's number 1. And actually, on a lot of lists I've looked at, that is number 1 top rated sitcom of all time is The Simpsons. What you got at number 7 there, Vic Damone Jr.
I mean, not to, but the Simpsons, it's probably the longest lasting thing of all time.
It passed Lucille Ball, which happened to be the longest running show about 5 years ago. Wow. And the only show that has actively more episodes than The Simpsons, I believe, if I'm not wrong, and that's episodic, would be Monday Night Raw. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, because Raw is a year show and The Simpsons are a 23-year episode per season. So if I'm not mistaken,
you are 100% correct.
Raw is the only show that has surpassed The Simpsons.
All right, cool. All right, so now to my number 7. I love this show because every New Year's I watch the marathon, The Honeymooners. To the moon.
Which version? I just got to be racist in action.
No, back in the black and white.
no, I meant like, well, the Honeymooners was stolen. They say just like they say, their friends were stolen, right? Which these are factual. The Honeymooners were a black show first, and then we got Ed Norton and Cramden and all those guys. And if you notice, they took him off the list. They took him off of television because of Alice one of these days, boom to the moon, and that was offensive that he hit women. So they took him off. They took them off of TV.
Oh, that's why they. Oh, I didn't realize that. And mind you, they still have the statue at Port Authority of him, which I like to see when I go over there. It's always nice to see him.
But anyway, I actually get that phrase because I just went there a couple weeks ago, so I just got that. I didn't know what Port Authority was.
I understood that one.
Oh, that's how I felt.
But yeah, like it was a funny show. Like it was pretty cool. You know what I mean? And then like, and it was hilarious when Eddie Murphy like mentioned them in his first comedy like that. So it was a hitter. It was definitely one of those shows that a lot of people saw. I was born in '82, so I just saw the reruns and I would see it at New Year's
night and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's when I caught it. But I just realized that wow, this thing really was a hit because it was hilarious. Now, one of the things that I really appreciated about like Nick at Night and things like that when I was coming up was that I got to see things that were from before my time and kind of learn about what was going on. You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool. But yeah, Honeymoons.
Well, I figure since executive consultants say he's going to break the rule, you kind of tiptoed and broke the rule a little bit. Here go my first rule breaking of it. Since I am the tribal chief of staff, and since we're all staff, I'm going to break a rule and be tribal. And at my number 6, I got 2. That's a tie. Okay. And one of those shows, as I mentioned earlier, can't get Dave Pritchard if I don't get Al Bundy and Married with Children. We're talking about a show that's groundbreaking. You gotta remember Fox, when Fox first came out, it tried to not be ABC. It tried not to be NBC. They wanted to be raunchy and have a different edge to them. So shows like Martin, shows like The Simpsons, shows like this right here broke the barrier. And today, I've always said this, if shows like this, if other great shows, I will not mention now, if say somebody mentions them till later, existed today, they would not have made on television. Thank God, thank my parents for making me when they did, so I got to see great television like this right here, Married with Children. And now this is where you may laugh at me because I am a little quirky, I'm a little corny, and yeah, I think The Notebook's the greatest love story of all time. So guess what? One of my favorite shows of all time? The New Girl. Oh my God. How about my man Winston right there in the far left? That's my boy in real life. Then we got my man G.D. LaShelle. Oh my God. Just look at her. Oh, she's just so fine. And my man Schmidt. I love him so much. I watched The Neighborhood on CBS. And I ain't watched CBS since the NFL playing on there. So The New Girl remind me of my cousin and his friends. I've always was envious of a friendship like this with any friendship group. Okay. Where they just all understand each other. And there's no, like they do quirky, crazy games that nobody would understand but them. And I just always thought that was really cool that you have these group of friends you've known since you were little and you grew up together and you'll stay friends all these years. And I love that dynamic. It's talked about so well. They're actually talking about bringing The New Girl back. Okay. How do you do that when I know Schmidt's very popular right now in the neighborhoods? And that's one of CBS's biggest shows right now. I don't know how that would fly, but hey, I'm here for it. So for me, number 6, I got Married with Children. And The New Girl tied at number 6. Number 6 for you, Chris. What do you got?
Oh man, you got a great pick there. I have another great pick. You know what? I'm the youngest. This is a fun fact. I'm the youngest of the 3 of us, right? Not by much. Nobody's like 20 years older than me. But I feel like I'm the ones picking all these older shows. Well, Vic's picked a couple older shows. Anyway, so have I even broken into the 90s yet? I don't know, and I'm not going to now either. Because
I'm not
I
even
have
got
to
to my
pick
top
something.
5 yet. Just
Yeah,
saying.
we picked something that we did a movie a couple weeks ago. That was my pick. It was for Black fathers, and let me tell you something.
You have
This is a groundbreaking show, also, and yes, I'm going to go ahead and say it: The Cosby Show.
Oh man, that's my number 5. Oh, okay.
When you're getting older in your high school years, you're like, oh, Bill Cosby, ain't cool, that ain't cool. But I will tell you something. As much as I used to always say that, I will go back and I'll watch the show and I'm like, damn, this show was funny as hell. And it does not get the respect it deserves when you got older. As you got older. Back in that time, this is actually NBC's #1 comedy, right? But it lost a lot of steam. And of course, now we're not going to talk about what happened with Modern Times when it comes to Bill Cosby. However, I will give the respect for that show and the amount of comedy it did and the amount of stars that show made. You might not pay attention for African-American actors and actresses.
Every child got famous but Vanessa, really.
Exactly. That show produced a lot.
And
Felicia Rashad herself still gets a lot of bookies. They call her and ask her for an interview anytime when anything Cosby related comes up because she is known as that African-American mom from that show. So the Cosby Show is my number 6.
What's Denise's daughter's name?
Raven Simone.
No, Denise's daughter. Denise's daughter. Denise. You know, Denise.
Yeah, Denise. Her daughter was played by I just said Raven Simone, Olivia.
No. I mean her real daughter.
Real daughter. Oh, Lenny Kravitz and them daughter. The one playing Cat Girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Her daughter's something else. But yeah, damn, you picked my number 5, man. That's crazy. But you know what? I'm gonna do this a double, right? Because I was thinking about this. Because I literally used to watch these shows back to back, and it was because of TGIF. Thank God it's Friday when you used to have to run home for TGIF, right? And these shows will come on back to back. And what I loved about it is because you would learn about the Black family and then you would learn about the white family, and that is Family Matters and Full House. It went from.
You're gonna go double like me, huh?
Yeah, I am. You know why? And the reason why I say this is because of what I'm saying. It was literally just on some TGIF. You know what I mean? My life was about Snick and TGIF. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah. And they were both hitters. You know what I mean? It went from Did I Do That to You Got It Do. You feel me? So like, it was cool. It all flowed together. And mind you, they even did crossover shows together.
Yes,
which I thought was really cool. You know what I mean? And then mind you, they both tackled issues, lighthearted issues, hard issues, things like that. Like it was just, and mind you, those things they really, those shows really just captivated the audience at the time. Like they really, really did. Like, you know, Urkel and Michelle were everywhere. You know what I mean? You couldn't.
The man had his own cereal.
Facts. Okay. Mind you, you know, I seen an episode of Pawn Stars the other day where somebody was selling an Urkel doll and was making a mint.
It was he got Jaleel White will always be Urkel.
Facts. He's selling bud now.
Yeah,
Urkel
I know.
Urkel weed now, taking pictures of Snoop Dogg selling Urkel bud, looking mad high in his Urkel outfit. What?
He said looking mad high in his Urkel outfit.
He always hated the fact that he couldn't get over
over the Urkel thing. He hated that.
Yeah, but he was like the most popular character in TV for a couple years. Like he was just it. And everywhere you go, people just wanted him to do the Urkel, and he did not do that.
He was one, I believe. Screech was 2, and Baki Butakamoose was 3. I think in that era.
I think Al Bundy was up there too, but I completely.
This is before Al Bundy.
Okay,
I'm talking about in that window where he.
Remember, Family Matters came out after Married with Children.
No, Family Matters came out before Married with Children. Married with Children came out.
No,
okay, double check. I could be wrong.
Matters came out 89.
I thought so too.
Yeah. And Married with Children came out in 1987.
I remember our grandmother getting on the bike talking about like it's the 80s.
I remember she passed away and there was no.
And I mean, as far as what I'm talking about, we were talking about. I was referring to like children's stars.
No,
like
you're
kids
right.
Looked up to. But
you're
with
right.
that being said, guys, we're gonna go to number 5 here. And for me, I'm a little offended you had this so low. It's considered top 10 on your list, but again, it's yours. This is mine. So for me, it's a simple brainer. You've already spoke about it. I'm just gonna reiterate it. Number 5 for me. I mean, He is literally my favorite comedian, one of my top 5. Let me rephrase that, comedians of all time. I think his stand-up was fantastic. I think everything he did in the show, like you said, the first 4 or 5 seasons was just comedy gold. No matter what he did, him getting beat up by Tommy Hearns, more like Tommy Hitman being hit Hearns, all the things they went through, them taking on Lisa Leslie and the girls' basketball team out there, like you said, Vic, learning about Detroit. Really, other than me hating the Pistons bad boys, it was what Martin showed. Hell, my calling should have known back then. It was to do radio because of Martin, who gets paid for just talking trash and how they feel. Again, number 5 for me. You can't see us backstage dancing. How y'all feel? What you got number 5 there, executive consultant? No, go ahead.
It was already mentioned. Go ahead.
Wait, I just want to say that, you know what? One thing that stuck with me from Martin that never went away was the greeting that the brother man from the 5th floor does.
To this day.
To this day, I still do that. I see somebody far away. I do.
The best one is, yo, bro, man. He said, yo, your mom's upstairs. Said I come down here and get a couple sandwiches. Man would crawl through his window like Hustle Man. You know what I'm saying? Introducing Hustle Man. You know what I'm saying? Doing the with the kazoo. It was nothing that Martin at that time wasn't touching. That wasn't gold on that show. And it's just sad how the show went from so high to so down so fast. With that being said, again, executive consultant, number 5 for you.
We're just going to rehash on another show that was talked about, but hey, I think it deserves it. Did I do that? Family Matters is going to be talked about as my number 5. I mean, hey, everybody still to this day talks about, hey, why would he not pick Myra over Laura? That's the
Myra was a banger. What?
May she rest in peace. May she rest in peace. She was amazingly beautiful.
She was so much better for this man than some damn Laura, but he could not help the case. But the show, like Martin, in my opinion, kind of got bigger than itself. And I did see the reunion special they had like a year or 2 ago, where he talked about how the show started to pretty much, and it did, because remember he didn't start.
Instead of be focused around him and not Family Matters. Yeah, it did.
Exactly.
They
went one direction, and then when he came on and everybody loved his character, they turned too much in my opinion, and then when they changed Harriet, but too much about him, and it just got super ridiculous with all the stuff he was putting in, and that was in the later years. The show was on for quite a long number of years, but that was a disservice to that show.
You know why? And I know a lot of people get mad when I say this about Family Matters. I never really loved the show. I liked the show, but I never loved Family Matters. I just always had a problem. Again, at this point, I'm from the South Side of Chicago, and I got this, what grown-ass man's going to let this kid come here and wreck his house the way Urkel would do? You know what I mean? But again, it's TGIF. You know what I'm saying?
That was the space for you to be. TGIF at that time.
Yeah, it was.
TGIF never recovered from that. So.
You had, I mean, I thought Step by Step was okay, but not like this.
It was always Family Matters. That was the lead.
Perfect Strangers. That's in that beginning stages of you know, I said Baki Batakamoose. You know what I mean? I thought you was gonna people on that. But Vic, what you got number 5?
Well,
you already told us. Didn't you already tell us it was when your 5 his 6?
My 5 was the Cosby Show.
Okay, it was the Cosby Show. Okay.
My 5 was the Cosby Show because, like, you know, and mind you, like the first episodes of the Cosby Show were the comedy from Bill Cosby himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I can listen to Bill Cosby himself till this day and be dying laughing. And the one thing that I respected about Bill Cosby at the time is that in his comedy, and mind you, Eddie Murphy makes fun of this so much, and it is so hilarious when he does it, but it is still respectable. Like he doesn't swear, he doesn't do anything like that. I could learn from him, but he keeps it very clean. And it's hilarious. You know, a lot of the stuff that he did in the show was, you know, a lot of it was projecting a certain message. But then a lot of the things that he did as far as like making fun of the kids and making fun of certain things, like was very accurate and just very funny. Now, I will say this show led to a lot of doctors, a lot of lawyers, a lot of people, a lot of professional people. It was just the glorification of the Black family. And that's one of the things that I love about this show. So, yeah, you know, I that definitely was my number 5.
Number 5 for Vic's The Cosby Show. Let's see if that makes my top anything. With that being said, guys, we've reached number 5. we normally do a top 5. It was so big. You see the shows we got 5 more to go, yo. Commercial break, y'all. We'll be right back. Popular review.
Rob Reiner and Stephen King want to be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas and a safe and sane holiday season. But for novelist Paul Sheldon, it won't be very merry at all. He's spending Christmas in bed.
There is nothing to worry about. You're gonna be just fine. I'm your #1 fan.
Whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it.
It's for the best.
Misery.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on Unpopular Review, top 10 favorite sitcoms of all time. We went through 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. But now it's time to go a little further. So for me, that is number 4. It's not an oldie, but it's a goodie. And by the time y'all see this, let me just say to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. And for those Black American fathers out there, may I add, because by the time you see this, Juneteenth would have passed. Happy Black Father's Day to you. So with that being said, if you don't know about now what number 4 is, but I just set that up there like it is. Number 4 for me of all time.
At least can we have one day where the country acknowledged it? It would feel like, I don't know, an
apology. All right, Blackish. This show, I know a lot of Black folks kind of don't like it. And I always say you need to watch it. Right. This show educated white America on what Black America thinks. And they put it in an honest and open dialogue. One of the greatest episodes of television I've ever seen in my life was the discussion over the N-word. And one of the lines that Andre Johnson, the star of Blackish, Anthony Anderson, says is, man, y'all have used that word against us as a weapon for hundreds of years. I get it may be bad, but let us figure it out. We only had it for a few. I thought just that line to me in that episode, just teaching. I sit my kids down, we watch the episode. It had so many educational things about it. There would be no Blackish without the Cosby Show. I tell you that much. So for me, number 4.
At least can we have one day where the country acknowledged it? It would feel like, I don't know, an
apology. Blackish, number 4 for me. If y'all haven't saw this one pattern yet, a lot of my shows are on ABC. What you got going on here, Doug, a consultant, at number 4?
I have to say that I have a show that's very, very popular, but it's once again it's an older show. But hey, this show is still a cultural favorite today, and that is The Golden Girls.
Can we all start singing? Can we start singing?
Hey, for being a friend.
Up and down the road and back again. Your heart is true. Your power and a comfort. Thank you for. Had to jump solo there for a second.
The Golden Girls.
Wait a minute now. What about the spin-off when they buy the hotel? That's
Golden
about designing
Golden Palace.
Golden Palace.
Yo, listen,
it had 2 spinoffs. That's why I got that one. It had Designing Women was a spinoff.
Oh, until recently I caught that shit on Hulu and it got me rolling. I love it.
What you got, Chris?
It didn't last long, but Golden Girls did last long, and it was just it's a show when you first see it, you're like, there's no way I'm going to think this is funny. As a young kid, right? Even as an adult, African American male, I'm like, there's no way I can think this is funny. But then I watch the show, I'm like, wow, this show is hilarious.
I learned what a promiscuous woman was because of Golden Girls. Because Blanche, between Blanche and Mona from Who's the Boss?
There would be no Sex in the City if not for this show.
Of course, because Blanche is Samantha.
Yes.
100%. Yes. Right? Like her character.
Oh my God. Woo!
And I like something you said there, Chris. I'm going to touch on that before we go to his number 4. You are so right. There are so many shows that I'm rewatching now that as a child I thought was funny without having any understanding of what it was. And now that I'm an adult watching it,
it's even funnier.
It's even funnier. So, Vic, number 4, what you got?
Oh, man, I'm not prepared with the 4.
Yeah, we know.
But What? 227.
Ooh.
227.
Ooh. At number 4? Okay.
Yeah, yes. I mean, no.
I can respect that.
No, you know what? I'm gonna keep it real. Like Jackie.
You still love her?
Young
Still love her? You still love her?
Man,
She was fine. She was fine.
What? She can get it now. I'm like,
she'll give it to you too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, she was fine as hell. I loved seeing Jackie. I mean, listen, I watched Sister just for Jackie. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. But man, listen, man, this show was just funny. And the thing about it was so accurate because a lot of the people here act like that. You know, there's somebody always out the window, all up in your business, always trying to comment on saying. You know what I mean? So it just felt so.
We do that right here on Unpopular Review Entertainment.
No, but the thing is, it felt so accurate of the time and so hood, and it felt so great. And just seeing Jackie was just awesome, and I loved that show. It was great. And
Marla Gibbs.
And mind you, like, you know, watching it back, like, it makes me proud of Regina King. Mm-hmm. And everything that she's done, because I got a ton of respect for her.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And like, yeah.
Absolutely. For me, number 3 has already been mentioned by both of these brothers here. Mm-hmm. I gave you a quasi interlude that you couldn't have that without having this. Sing your song, the greatest African-American sitcom of all time. And I don't care. Come at me, bro. Comment below. Let me know. The Cosby Show, by far, without it, nothing else would exist. It taught me how to be a husband. It taught me how to be, a father. It taught me how I don't have to talk to my kids as a child. I got my ass beat. Let's keep it a bean. Yeah, the Cosby never got their asses beat. Maybe they should have, though. Okay, and that's why a lot of people say they prefer James Evans over Bill Cosby as a father, because James Evans will whoop your ass from Good Times. Bill Cosby didn't whoop their ass. But one of the things I want to share this with you guys real fast, also because one of the greatest scenes from any movie ever, okay, came from this movie. I mean, from this TV show, because as you mentioned, she's today still looked at as one of the most greatest actresses and mothers in TV history. And that is Felicia Rashad. Again, this show spawned every single sitcom that was black in that time. You wouldn't have a different world without it. And you wouldn't have TV moms and fathers today without this right here.
How you doing, Alvin?
Hi, Dr. Huxtable.
All right.
Thanks for letting me in.
It's okay.
Hi, Mrs. Huxtable.
Hello, Elvin.
Is Sandra ready?
Well, not yet, but she'll be down in a little while. Would you and Dr. Huxtable like some coffee?
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee.
You mean you're going to get it?
Yes. You're surprised?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Huxtable. I didn't think you did that kind of thing.
What kind of thing?
You know, serve.
Serve whom?
Serve him.
Oh, serve him! As in serve your man?
Well, yeah.
Let me tell you something, Elvin. You see, I am not serving Dr. Huxtable, okay?
Okay.
That's the kind of thing that goes on in a restaurant. Now, I'm going to bring him a cup of coffee just like he brought me a cup of coffee this morning. And that, young man, is what marriage is made of. It is give and take 50-50. And if you don't get it together and drop these macho attitudes, you are never going to have anybody bringing you anything, anywhere, any place, anytime, ever.
Ever. I stopped the clips. I think I went a little bit too far, but she said, yeah, you want that coffee? He goes, no, I'm sorry, I'm about to get you a cup of coffee. Okay.
A meme of that.
The Cosby Show, number 3 favorite sitcom of all time. Without it, I couldn't be the man I am today. And I'm just being real. I don't care what people say what he did. The character of Bill Cosby of the Cosby Show, Cliff Huxtable. Mm-hmm. I couldn't go to Best Buy because what the hardware store was for Heathcliff Huxtable, Best Buy was for me. If I went to Best Buy, I was buying. I didn't even need it. Oh, I just go ahead and get these 50 CDs I'm going to burn that sits here because it was Best Buy. I love that show, 100%. Number 3 for me, The Cosby Show. What you got number 3? I got a consultant.
Great pick. I'm glad the Cosby was in all our 10s. Let's just be real, it was. So that was good. It's the same thing with Martin. Black shows. But my number 3 is not an African-American show. My number 3 is not a white American show, so to speak. And this might be a little controversial and unpopular. I don't care. It's unpopular review. But my number 3, my top number 3 has me rolling. I watch it sometimes before I go to sleep, and that is American Dad, which is, in my opinion, the greatest animated comedy of all time. Shout out to the critic. American Dad has, yes, my number 3. That show is complete comedy. Roger is complete comedy on that show. The way he tries to kill everybody is complete comedy. Stan, complete comedy. Steve, complete comedy.
I don't like this shit on people's picks, but you made fun of Friends and you put
this
American Dad
this
in there?
show has me rolling, not Friends. Friends has me rolling at the end of a Shrek 3 movie. This has me rolling, right, at the end of the beginning and middle and end of this show. American Dad is just comedy to me. I'm glad this is going on for 17 seasons. You have no idea how many times I've cried laughing at this show. It's my top, right?
Hey, comedy subjective.
You pick Friends,
and that's all that matters.
Right? You pick Friends, which is a terrible choice. Every other choice you made was a little iffy to me. I respected it because you're a choice. I can't respect Friends. I never can respect Friends. Friends is not funny to me. But American Dad, I put American Dad up against almost any comedy out there.
Okay. Well, there you go. Number 3, Vic, what you got?
Seinfeld.
That's simple. I like it.
Seinfeld.
That was it's Seinfeld. I was wondering what the New Yorker was going to do. After that, I was waiting when this New Yorker was going to put a New Yorker show back in there, and you took longer than I thought. I actually thought you would have a high to that, eh?
Nah, you know what's crazy? Because Seinfeld, the thing about Seinfeld is that, like, it's different to watch it back than like going through it while we were here. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the stuff was like, you know, tackling stuff that was here or making fun of stuff that was here at the time. So now when you watch it back, it's literally just about the topics, even though all of that shit is just hilarious. A lot of it is hilarious. And I think that, you know, just to piggyback on it, like a show like Philadelphia, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia wouldn't have really have hit much if it wasn't for that. For something like this.
Absolutely. And that show's been lasting longer than I ever thought it would last.
Yes,
in Philadelphia.
No, but look, yo, I got to give a shout out to Danny DeVito. Like him just being a sloth is hilarious. You know, what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean. But yeah, no, that's my number 3, Seinfeld. Seinfeld is, I can watch it back. You know what I mean. Even though Kramer's a racist piece of shit, he was hilarious. And Seinfeld is still hilarious till this day. You know what I mean. And mind you. And that show led to Curb Your Enthusiasm.
There would be no Curb without him, right?
That was just like hilarious. You know, this thing led to a lot of things. And New Yorkers, when the show ended, like it was front page news. It was a big thing. You know, it was definitely a phenomenon.
Arguably the number 1 on a lot of people's list, if no longer than 1 through 5, is Seinfeld. On pretty much a lot of lists you go through, it's Seinfeld. A lot of people have that, Simpsons, or Friends. Number 1. Okay. But with that being said, my number 2 was already in one of y'all lists. I believe it was a Chris's list. That's why I got offended that I think he had it at like number 9 or number 10. But hey, it's his list, not my list. So for me, at number 2, that's second above none.
You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Always glad you came.
Other day I'm watching Cheers. Like, I'm rewatching Cheers over. And this is right after Coach leaves because Coach in real life passed away. He was the bartender. And then we get the introduction of Woody Harrelson's character and as Woody. And guy comes in. It's like the season premiere. It's when Sam goes off. And the guy comes in the bar and goes, "Yeah, I just saw Norm. He won't give me the time of day." He said, "Oh, it's 3:15. Like little dumb stuff like that. Cheers was just from Diane to Kirstie Alley. Oh my God, Kirstie Alley was so damn fine. You understand? For Black Americans, our television relationships with women is what we saw because we didn't get Black women on TV a lot. So Kirstie Alley, Women in Red, one of my, we talking about movies, but Women in Red, Kelly LeBrock. You know what I mean? Like the 80s women, the big hair, the makeup. And like I look at it now, like Kirstie Alley was packing back then, but the 80s didn't show you body. Back then, they showed you outfits and attitudes. But I'm looking at the show differently now. Like, Kirstie Alley was fine. Like Carla, to me, to this day, one of the funniest characters in television history is Carla, the barmaid there. Just hands down, Ted Hansen, Norm, you name it. This whole crew of characters. Again, as Chris said earlier, executive consultant that is, it's centered around a bar. And how can you not be funny with a bar? Because I'm a bar guy. And if you go to bars, like I go to bars, you see all that stuff happening for real. So for me, number 2. Where everybody knows your name. Cheers. What you got, executive consultant, in number 2?
Great pick. I will never ever say anything against anybody who says something with Cheers. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't stand Seinfeld. I think that might be a show that's up there with Friends for me. One of the most overrated comedies of all time is Seinfeld. The show about absolutely nothing, but at least I respect it because they say talk about it. They admit the show is about absolutely nothing. But whatever, it's your pick, right? I'm gonna pick something actually finally in the 21st century, right? I didn't think it was gonna happen, but my second favorite comedy of all time could have went on for another 12 seasons. The Big Bang Theory.
Word, that was a good one.
When I'm looking at list, that's a lot of people's number 1.
I had no idea. I heard about this show so many times, and I had no idea until about the 6th, 7th season that just how funny the show was. People said, "Hey, Chris, you remind me of a certain character on there." I was like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." But then I went in and I watched it. I was like, "God, this show is comedy. It is for nerds."
The crazy thing about this show is that, like, the smarter you are, the funnier it is. But even if you're dumb, it's funny.
Thanks, because I think it's funny and I'm dumb as shit.
You know what I'm saying?
But he's absolutely right.
Yeah. Like, it's really hilarious. Like, if you're really smart, it's really
if you can get some of the jokes, I cannot sit here and say that it's one of my shows, but I can also sit here and say that whenever I've watched it, I've enjoyed myself watching it, if that makes sense. It's not something that I go to because it's not centered for me. But 100%, I've never watched, hospital, wherever you are, doctor's office, getting your car fixed. If that's on, I'm like, it's so good that you got little Shelton come from it. Okay. Young Sheldon, I mean. Was spin off of that show because the guy in there, in which I get now, you got
that show
trackies and stuff. So what you got at number 2, Vic?
Well, I think I'm going to do a double because these shows are pretty similar.
I cheated once, and now everybody gets a double.
As far as its political satire, because I think it's hilarious, and you might want to add American Dad to this, but I want to say Family Guy and South Park, because these shows have been around for about a couple decades already, and they just, the great thing about animation is just that, like, it's one of the greatest ways of making fun of things and making fun of people. They could just hit it right on the nose. I mean, the funniest thing to me is PC Principal and just the PC frat and how everybody's singing that PC song, or about how like that, like, they're all ready to beat up each other for people being politically correct, and that whole thing.
I don't watch adult anime like this animation anime. I dabbled in them. South Park, I gave it the first year or two. I definitely thought it was funny. It's like for me, I know people get mad when I say this, like the Chappelle Show for me. It's like every time I watch it, it's funny, but I don't want to watch it. That's how I feel about South Park and Family Guy. My wife loves Family Guy. My son reminds me of Stewie.
Yeah,
like he's just so.
It is awesome, mind you. And then when it comes to Family Guy, there's it's hilarious because people from other countries have like taken things and taken parts of the show and redubbed it. There's this thing out there called Dominican Family Guy. I can watch that all day, and it'll just make fun. It would be Stewie doing all of these different crazy things, just cuts that they took from the show. I love it. It literally is one of my favorite shows. I can literally have Family Guy just playing in the background, honestly, because it's just it really is funny. They tackle so many different things and just make fun of, like, I am Peter Griffin. I mean, I really am. I am Peter Griffin and Phil Dunphy roll into one.
Hey, I'm Phil Dunphy.
You're not in the real estate business.
I'm Phil Dunphy. I ain't got to be in the real estate business to be Phil Dunphy. You can't take that from me. I know all the dance moves from High School Musical. Okay? WTF, Wild the Face.
I don't know all that.
Okay? No, if you go to the first episode, you know what I'm talking about. Well, with that being said, guys, we're going to take a break. And here we're going to come back with some honorable mentions. And our number one, roll the Buddha bean footage.
Bruno, I guess he just has a crush on Kamala. I'm feeling like I'm saying on Kamala. And thank you. Because she had to correct someone.
I don't think it's still the best episode I've seen. Nothing beats episode 3 to me when him and Obi-Wan are going at it. I'm sorry. Okay. With that being said, we are back off that short-lived commercial break. So with that being said, guys, we're at honorable mentions. And I'm going to steal the spotlight because I get to host the show before Chris does. So I'm going to knock them all out the park before he get a gosh darn chance. All right? So honorable mentions for me. How can you not have the Jeffersons in there? All right. Also honorable mentions for me, like I said, like we're talking about favorites. All right. You asked me for some old stuff. My favorite, Martian. It's just so many TV shows, to be completely honest with you. You can just go on. It's favorites. My favorite list can go on and on and on for like a mile a minute. But we ain't got time for that. We've been here long enough. Executive consultant. So before we give our number ones, you got some honorable mentions.
Yeah, I had some honorable mentions. I'm going to mention right here. Quickly, rapid style, ladies and gentlemen. First thing I want to talk about is Home Improvement. Can you see? There you go. King of the Hill. King of the Hill.
Damn it, Bobby.
Is a very underrated animated comedy. The driest form of comedy, but the shit hits. So definitely give it a watch. Night Court was mentioned earlier. Somebody reminded me of it.
My favorite girl of all time in television history.
Who's the boss? Done. And last but not least, 2.5 Men, because it's winning. Those my honorable.
And now, so with that being said, while you're thinking, Vic, just think of your number one and give me your number one sitcom of all time.
Wait a minute now. I got it.
What is your number one?
I got it. No, ma'am.
Married with Children.
Married with Children.
Married with Children all day. I want a no, ma'am shirt. So, Chris.
I have one.
You know how many times you and I were supposed to go get these no, ma'am shirts? Just like we're supposed to.
I have a website that sells them.
This show's over.
Let's get them. Let's all show up and wear them.
Yes.
And make all the women mad.
Yes.
We will have like 4 people on the UPR that will leave us.
No, we're the greatest faction of all time. We'll call ourselves Toxic Masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. Number one, executive consultant.
I'm going to mention my number one. I'm going to mention my number one. And I mean, anybody who knows me knows what my number one comedy of all time is. It was already mentioned twice now, especially just now. It's Married with Children.
Oh, okay.
Married with Children will always be my favorite, absolute favorite comedy of all time. Can't argue with it. Can't dispute it with me. There's nothing close. I mean, Big Bang Theory at times was like
Peggy.
It was getting up there. No, not Fresh Prince, but it was definitely getting up there. But if you ever question why I picked Married with Children, I'm actually going to show you why.
I only won them once, and they split at the sides.
Well, let me explain. See, it's just like an elevator. There's a 2-ton weight limit on this shit.
We're going. Aren't you open?
Sorry, ma'am, but unlike your mouth, we occasionally close.
See? I told you I was a 4.
No, ma'am. 4 is what you'll have to yell when the shoe pops off your foot.
You will be hearing from my attorney.
Is that the law offices of Hagen and Dot?
I understand it. I was a size 6 before aerobics class. All that jumping must have expanded my foot.
And I see you must have fallen on your butt a time or two.
How dare you say that to my face?
Well, I'd say it behind your back, but my car's only got half a tank of gas.
That show wouldn't last today with all the jokes in that.
Not at all.
I absolutely love the comedy of that show, but that's my number one pick. Tribal Chief of Staff.
My number one is different from anything we've talked about thus far. It's again, key here, guys, is my favorite. I don't care what goes on in my life, what happens in my life. There's nothing that can cheer me up better than an episode of Entourage, people. There is nothing better than Vinny, Chase, and the Boys. This show, TV show rather, from HBO is directly into the life of, loosely based, shall I say, on Mark Wahlberg and his life going to Hollywood. So it stars around Vinny Chase, actor trying to get started, brings his boys. You got his brother Johnny Drama. You got everybody now knows him as Proctor, as Turtle. My favorite line you hear me use all the time. I love to be loved and I hate to be hated. I mean, pretty much every line I pretty much use a lot of times comes from this show. Ari Gold is the greatest character up there with Al Bundy, George Jefferson, the Fonz, who gets forgotten, okay, and Al Bunker. Okay, there's a four, and again, because it's not a sitcom, so I say TV in this one, I would go Lucius Lyons in there. But talking sitcoms and TV shows, number 4, Ari Gold by far is one of the greatest characters in history. I wish I could say half the things that he says on that show. It is, if you have not watched it since the pandemic, it has become one of them, shows that everybody now watches because they binge watch shows. But I'm always a guy who believes in, you're a secondary fan if you have not watched things from day one. And I was a day one guy. I remember all my friends would laugh at me like, dude, I'm not watching that show. And then all of a sudden year 3 came out and everybody loves Entourage. If you have not seen the show, I highly suggest you go watch it. You say show's about nothing. It's about watching this man try to make it in Hollywood with his boys, and they're filthy rich and they're having fun doing it. It's just exciting. It makes me want to move to Los Angeles. And to this day, I still want to live in LA because of this show, Entourage. For me, number 1, my mind has been in a bow in the memory you. Yeah. Number 1 for me, Entourage of all time. But with that being said, guys, we just did it. We did it. 1-parter, 2-parter. I won't know until he puts it out there. But here it is, our top 10 favorite sitcoms of all time. Unpopular review, that is. Make sure you comment below. Let us know, like, share, and subscribe to us. That is Executive Consultant. That is Vic. I am the Tribal Chief. And with that being said, people, I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.